So welcome to my review for Resident Evil 9 Requiem. And this is the latest survival horror game by Capcom, and it's coming out for PS5, Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. But I did play this on a PS5 Pro. And I gotta ask you guys, are you excited about this game? Have you been waiting for this game? Let me know down below. And I really want to say something very, very important here. This is a no spoilers review. Seriously, I'm just showing the beginning of the game for Grace and for Leon and nothing else. Because there's some amazing twists and turns in this game that I don't want ruined. There's even gameplay elements that I don't want to ruin for you. I just want to talk about the game in a very general way and give my final thoughts at the end, and also give a review of the Nintendo Switch 2 version. I'll do that at the end as well.
Shit. Thank you.
So to begin with, you can pick your game mode. There's casual, standard modern, and standard classic. And to get into the story without any spoilers, I'll just start with a beginning spoiler, what happens at the very beginning of the game. So you play as Grace Ashcroft, and you're tasked to go back to the Wrenwood Hotel as there has been a brand new murder there.
I need your eyes on the crime scene. The Wrenwood Hotel.
And it's also the same hotel where your mother was murdered 8 years ago. And yeah, I thought that was so crazy. They're sending her back to that place, but that's the beginning of the game.
Grace, come on.
And then Leon shows up to investigate the murders, which leads him to Victor Gideon.
I'm going after Victor.
And at this point in the game, Grace gets captured. So for gameplay, you switch between Grace and Leon.
He's the one to thank for all the excitement.
So Grace is trying to figure out where she is while on the run from some gigantic horror creature. And that never lets up through the game. It's really one of those things that's just terrifying. As you're exploring different environments, this thing is always after you. Never mind all of the other horrific things that are out to get you. And you can switch to Leon, who's more the action-oriented guy with a huge arsenal of weapons. And also in this game, the really big deal is you can switch between first person and third person perspective. Finally! So to begin with, when you play as Grace, it switched to first person perspective. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool, this is very interesting, but I switched it back to third person. That's how I've always played Resident Evil games if I can, and I love it that I could switch it on the fly that way, and I played all of the entire game that way. And the good news here is, this is very traditional Resident Evil. The gameplay has you exploring environments, solving puzzles to progress, and item navigation. And a lot of people are wondering, what is it like to switch between Leon and Grace? I want to say this, when I first started the game, I thought Grace was going to be just kind of like more timid, kind of exploring around, and that Leon would be the big action character. That is true, but I just want to say that Grace packs a heck of an arsenal as well that I'm not going to show here, but she has so many weapons and so many things that she can do, and there's a lot of things I just want to mention as well. There's a lot of things in this game you can do with blood. And especially to do with her character that I don't want to mention right now. It's not really a crazy spoiler, but it's something to do with item manipulation. But I want you guys to discover that on your own. But yes, Leon is the big heavy hitter in the game. He has a huge arsenal of weapons, from his guns to his hatchet. And I gotta say, I love that thing. And I love the melee attacks in this game. When he kicks zombies or crunches their heads, It feels like a pure pleasure to play as Leon. It's such a thrill. And it's always just fun playing as Grace and then switching back to Leon and really getting crazy, especially when he picks up a chainsaw.
Nice.
The roles have reversed, and I gotta say, it's a pleasure to do this, and I loved every second of it. So as for the graphics, they are truly amazing on the PS5 Pro that I played. I've been in disbelief at some of the things that I've seen in this game, and some of the things that you guys will see in this game that I'm not even showing right now. You know, the end game stuff is crazy. There's some really wild moments in this game, and I just gotta say, the texture, the lighting, the rain effects, it all really comes together and creates a heck of an atmosphere to explore. But it runs super smooth, just running around checking out all those grimy locations. And I want to say the Switch 2 version was a bit of a surprise for me. I was like, how is this gonna run? And I played them back to back. I played the PS5 version first on the Pro, and I was playing that, and then I put in the Switch version and played that on the TV. And I gotta say, it's a pretty good version of the game. I was really surprised. Obviously, it's not the PS5 Pro version, but I thought it was a very competent version of the game. Sometimes you can see in Grace's hair the difference in some of the textures. I'll do a side-by-side comparison to show you, captured on the same capture software, 4K, 60 frames a second, so you can make up your own mind. But I gotta say, the Nintendo Switch 2 version took me back a bit. I was like, wow, this is a really good version of the game. And if you only have a Nintendo Switch 2, I think this is a great way to play the game. So let's get into sound effects and music. Perfectly fitting here. Perfectly fitting. And the one thing I like in this game a lot, like a lot of Resident Evil games, I like silence. I like just pure silence, going from one location to the other, and all of a sudden you just hear thunder. And it just rattles you, and you're like, oh my gosh. Coming through the glass. I've always liked those moments in Resident Evil, but I think it's really funny in this game where I go around a corner and the music all of a sudden gets really ominous, and I'm like, okay, something's gonna hit the fan here. I know something's coming. And that's the amazing thing in this game. When the tension kicks in, the music kicks in, it really, really works. And it really makes you feel a part of the story. So here's my final thoughts on the game. This is where I can summarize everything with no spoilers. I just talked about all the different gameplay bits, all the things that you can do in the game, but here's where I can summarize all of it together. And I want to say this is an incredible Resident Evil game. And I'm gonna get into some aspects of this in a second here, but it has everything that you want in a Resident Evil game. It's classic Resident Evil at its core, and that's a really important thing to state. There's a lot of exploration, a lot of creepy environments. In fact, there were some places that they put me in this game that I was like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. I can't believe you're doing this to me. It was just terrifying. My daughter heard me freak out from the other room. She was watching TV and I'm playing this game and I'm like, oh no, it had real good scare moments that got me. And it got me.
Oh, shit.
It also, I'm not going to show a lot of this, has so much gore in it. There's so much gore. There's also, I want to say this without any spoilers, there's so many varying degrees of zombies. And this is the thing that is the great thing about the game. The variations of all of the different creatures in this game. And all of them bring something different, and it really brings the game to life in a way that I haven't quite seen before. And I really enjoyed all of the enemies in this game, and all of the takedowns that Leon could do. But it's classic Resident Evil. You're always managing your inventory, except for Leon, he's pretty okay that way. But for Grace, you're always managing her inventory, bringing things to your storage box and bringing it back. And there's been some times in the game where I'm stuck and I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? And I'm like looking at my map, trying to figure everything out, classic Resident Evil style.
Dead.
And then I find an item that unlocks this door over here where I can get an item to bring it back over here. And all of a sudden, 5 more areas open up right away, just like that.
Come on, come on, come on!
And it's incredibly fulfilling. It gives me that old survival horror experience from Resident Evil. And I want to say that switching between Leon and Grace really adds to the story. I enjoyed playing as both of these different characters, and both of them have strengths and weaknesses. And I won't say any more than that. The way they explore certain sections of the game. And at times it's really about conserving ammo for the Grace side of things. Leon doesn't really have to worry about that as much. You get a lot of ammo with Leon. And I gotta mention the emotional reaction I had to this game without saying anything. And there's some points in this game, as you know, my favorite game in the series is Resident Evil 2. I played it in 1998. It meant a lot to me. I've talked about it over the years. We've ranked all the games. It's always been this one for me. Always has. It has a special place in my heart. And there was a point in this game, there's a couple of points, where I got emotional. I got very emotional, in fact, and I figured out why. And this is no spoiler for the game, that I was like 23 years old when I played Resident Evil 2. You know, nearly 28 years ago now. It's crazy to think about. And that was nearly Leon's age in the game at that time. And here we are, 28 years later, and I'm playing as Leon Kennedy, revisiting, Resident Evil, and he's like in his early 50s, and that's where I am. And so it's been such a weird emotional experience that I've gone through this entire arc with my own personal life that I've kind of aged with Leon. And I don't know, at some points in this game, it really hit me on an emotional level that I didn't expect from a Resident Evil game. I didn't expect that, but this is it really is in a lot of ways a bridge from Resident Evil 2 to this game. And it's been really wild to see that. And as I say, an unexpected emotional bit for me. But I want to say something here, and I don't say this lightly. This game is incredible. This game is amazing. This is one of the best Resident Evil games I have ever played. And so some of my favorites, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, the remake, is really good stuff. And it's this game for me. I'm gonna say something, and we all have our different opinions on things, which is great. You know, some people love 7 more, some people love 8 more. Everybody's gonna have their favorite in the series. This, for me, I enjoy it more than 7 and 8, and I want to say something. I love 7 and 8, but I love this game. I love the action. I love switching between the characters. I love the story unraveling between those two characters.
You've got to be shitting me.
I love some of the environments that they take you to in this game, and I'm not saying anything. But there's some big, from what I'm showing you the very beginning bit in the hotel, and then after that, we go to some bigger locations, and they will be surprising, and there's twists in this game. I just want to say this. There's twists and turns with the storyline that are unexpected, and they put you in some crazy situations, I'll say, that are amazing. And I applaud this game. I think they knocked it out of the park. I was playing it, and I get to like certain sections where I'm going through exploring, and then I unlock a door that opened up another section, and I thought I can't describe it, I don't want to show it, that I was just like, the environments and level design are so well executed in this game that I feel that they've been working on this for so long. There's such polish in here. There's such attention to detail. And for anybody worried about it, it is true Resident Evil at its core. It gives you everything that you want out of a Resident Evil game, and then some. And it's one of the highest rated games, in the series for me. There's 2, there's 4, and there's this. I've been totally taken back. I really wanted to get in front of the camera, and to be honest with you, I had to hold myself back a lot. I was just like, John, just calm down, calm down. But I'm really, and I don't say this too often, you know, I'm really excited for every Resident Evil fan to play this game. And I hope everybody enjoys it the way that I have. And a lot of people say, well, how long is this game? Is it a long game? It's standard Resident Evil fare in the way of hours. So I spent around 20 plus hours playing this game, but you can play on harder difficulty settings. There's a lot to explore. To be honest with you, I even think you could spend even more time with it, exploring more of it. And I explored everything. I just want to say that I went through this entire game and found every single detail I could in it. And I found it very, very fulfilling. And it's one of those games you're going to come back to. You're going to play again because you're going to want to. Because you want to experience this again. I'm really sad it's over. That I have to wait for the next Resident Evil game? No, I want to play this game again. It's that good. You'll want to play it again and again to get your money's worth out of the game. But I'm telling you, the game is super worth it. The game is super worth it. And I'm so excited to see what all the other reviewers out there have to say about this game. It's going to be rated high. I think so. I believe it better be rated high because I feel it definitely deserves it at least. Are you guys looking forward to the game? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.